if you can explain it to people, your responsibility as far as your area in the city council.
Sure, Brother Ian, you know, when I first got elected, I was elected as a district representative representing Midwest and Southwest Charlotte. You can use South Boulevard as an artery from, say, uptown going all the way down towards Old Pineville where the light rail is, and then take that going west where you pick up Westinghouse, South Tryon, Freedom Drive, West Boulevard, Moorhead, areas like that. And what we had at that particular time to address are some of the same issues that we're having to address today. Economic development, crime, making sure that there's land use available that we can maybe flip to create more business opportunities. So, and trying to make sure too that Charlotte is an affordable place for people to live. All of the quality of life issues you can think about. On the city council, we sort of represent the hardware type things, you know, making sure that neighborhoods are taken care of the way they should be, making sure proper infrastructure like your street lights, sidewalks, and roads are in good working condition, they are in shape, or need to be put in place so that people can have those amenities. Well, as we talk about trying to make sure people have job opportunities, we've been engaged in trying to be about that program through business investment grants, where we would lure businesses here, but not only are we interested in luring businesses here, we also want to make sure that there's opportunity that comes with those businesses, meaning that people will have those jobs, and not only white-collar jobs, I might add, but that they're blue-collar jobs as well, because in as much as we want to make sure that we have white-collar jobs, we have to make sure there's a balance here to create blue-collar opportunities for a workforce. So that's one of the things I want to continue to concentrate on and be about the program of being about. Gray Bar Electric, which is something I brought to the western portion of the city, or opportunities like Rooms to Go, which is off of 85. We want to enjoy those opportunities as well as the cell guards, as well as the Time Warner cables and so forth and so on. But I will tell you something, image building, especially on some of our poor areas or middle class areas, we need to be concentrating on. When you start talking about the image of what North Tryon looks like, and remembering what West Boulevard used to look like many years ago, we have to invest the time and the resources to be able to make sure that we're prioritizing accordingly. So we still want to continue to be about the program of economic development, public safety, making sure that people have opportunity for employment, but two, that we can change the image of an area too to make sure that it's attractive so that people will want to be able to move there if they want housing, because housing obviously is one of those other areas that we concentrate on.
I have a question for you real quick. Being that you're talking about the neighborhoods and the areas, Brother John, can you tell them what North Tryon rates on the national list of worst neighborhoods? Brother Ian?
Yes. Basically on the website here is, the reference from the website is, see here, dailyfinance.com. You all heard of dailyfinance.com. Okay, out of the top 25 cities in the nation with worst neighborhoods, North Tryon was ranked number 11 as far as the most violent neighborhoods in the nation.
So how do we clean up North Tryon? How do we clean up this district?
I need clarity on something, because this neighborhood, I don't know, is maybe falls in that same level, and this is a part of North Tryon. And then you got Hidden Valley, which is on the other side, unless you're going Hidden Valley, what, north? I guess toward Derrida, so we probably need some of
what was it?
Clarity.
It was 28206 and 28262.
But either way, I can tell you this, relative to some of the neighborhoods, there's been a level of gang activity that's been occurring over
like Hidden Valley, right?
Like Hidden Valley. But some in Hidden Valley.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, please.
There have been issues regarding gang activity in Hidden Valley, and in partnership with the federal government, CMPD and the city have worked to eliminate and control a lot of that, and it's worked well. That's not to say that there still aren't episodes of crime, still aren't episodes of gang activity.
Because we do have a gang task force.
You compare it to 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it's 100% better. Again, not perfect, but it's getting better. Also, one of the things that we're doing with the Blue Line extension, the light rail line, it's going to go on to Tryon Street at Old Concord Road. And we're using corridor improvement money, the same money we used along the South Corridor, to actually improve infrastructure in the neighborhoods a half mile on each side of the lines. It would require some public-private sector involvement, but it is primarily a public sector. The city will be doing it, the state, city, and the federal government will be funding this primarily to be a city function. But the point is that we're using that money to try to rehabilitate the corridor. there's also a plan that we passed a few years ago to improve North Tryon Street south of Sugar Creek Road. My goal, since I've been on the council, is to clean up the corner of Sugar Creek and Tryon. The challenge is that the private folks who own it probably own property, and we can't make them change it. It obviously, in my opinion, needs to be changed. And there are some things that we're probably going to start exploring to bring about that change. But I don't know anything about that website that you cited. But 28262 is essentially the heart of University City. It is.
We see homelessness outside all the time, riding down the street. I mean, it's a lot of homelessness on North Tryon.
There is
that's where the homeless shelter
three. But I understand, but it's like 3 miles from downtown.
Right, but that's because the homeless shelters are on North Tryon Street near Uptown. They've also been developed over in Druid Hills and in other areas near Uptown, and I have had some challenges, some issues with that for a while too. But what I'm saying to you is that the sort of statistics that you read without some sort of empirical data behind it, it's hard to know how to respond to.
Not only that, he said something I want you to make sure we hang on to. In order for Charlotte to be able to move forward anywhere, North Tryon, South Tryon, West Boulevard, East Boulevard, you have to have public-private partnerships taking place. Meaning you have to have the private sector working with the public sector to be able to help us with what we're trying to do in the way of changing our corridor.
Okay, another thing is the numbers on the homeless, brother.
Let me North Tryon. Councilman Barnes just talked about it a second ago. City Council has been working for the last several years to get the Blue Line extension, which is essentially the blue line that goes down South Boulevard to extend up to UNCC. We recognized a while ago that there is no bigger economic generator that would help this corridor than getting that line extended, which would pretty much parallel North Tryon up to a point where it actually goes into North Tryon. We've seen what it did down on the South Boulevard corridor, where it brought in a lot of new economic development. It brought in stability to those neighborhoods. That's the same thing that's going to happen when it goes up north. Now, the homeless thing, you know, Councilman Barnes is right. As long as those facilities are in that area, we're going to deal with some of
Okay, well, can I say? Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I mean, as long as we have the Shin, is it still the George Shin Center for the men's shelter? As long as we have Morris Place and some of those other things, and we made it clear to the folks, we know you want to help people, but you're going to have to help them all around town. You can't keep helping them just in our neighborhoods. Okay. So we're doing what we can to address those issues at the same time of trying to bring economic development back to that corridor. And that corridor is not the same. Okay. It's urban downtown, it's light industrial for a minute, then it becomes neighborhoods, and then it becomes suburbia. So you can't look for one solution to that whole corridor. It's going to take different things. And we've passed plan after plan after plan that deals with that. And just one last point about the light rail extension. That's $1 billion investment. There's nothing else even on the books that we're doing that's $1 billion investment anyway. So, we've heard the cry, and we are pushing it just as hard as anything. That's probably one of our top priorities.
Okay. Well, can I give you the numbers real quick on the homeless, real quick, in Charlotte, North Carolina? Can you give them the homeless numbers?
Yes. As far as the homeless, they're, according to homelessservicenetwork.org, the total homeless count for this winter here in Charlotte is 7,639. Over half, which would be 3,500. A little over 3,500.
Speak louder, brother.
Children that are homeless, and these are reported by CMS. As far as
so it's half children that are homeless, not just adults, right, brother?
Right. It's half children that are homeless.
And this is from CMS?
Reported from CMS.
Okay.
And the thing I want to ask also.
So it's not just adults that are homeless; it's mainly children.
Right.
So we're missing something here.
Well, let's be clear about numbers.
Okay.
I actually work for a housing agency. Let's break those numbers down.
So hold on before you answer that question, brother. As far as numbers, so you don't believe all numbers that are given out on the internet? Is what you're saying, right?
And you'd be crazy to believe everything.
Okay, great. So when we hear numbers, hold on, brother. So when we hear numbers, as brother here quoted to me earlier, 66% voted for mayor already.
Early voting registration.
66%. So
this was reported by actually Mayor Fox last night.
That 66%. So can we believe those numbers, or what numbers do we believe?
No one should know who's voted for who yet.
And
if they do, I want to know how that's.
Okay, so that's coming from where, brother?
Well, we're understanding that the people that are out canvassing and campaigning. So what we're trying to do is we're doing two things here. One, we're trying to get educated ourselves.
Yes.
Two, so the reason why you all are here is so that we don't have to go out and listen to second party information.
We can hear